Hey there, amigos. Today we're going to talk about something muy importante, accents in Spanish. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, you're one to talk, you forget them all the time in your videos. And to that I have to say, oh yeah? How do you spell your in both contexts of my previous statement? Yeah, that's what I thought. It happens. But in all honesty, this is something that can make a big difference in how you're understood in the written language. For starters, let's talk about why accents matter. In Spanish, accents, sometimes known as tildes, are used to indicate the stressed syllable in a word. And, as you may know, the meaning of the word can change depending on which syllable is stressed. For example, let's take the word mamá. If you put the accent on the last syllable, it means mom. But if you remove it altogether, it can mean breast. Or, in certain areas, can mean suck. Now, let's face it, a native speaker will still understand you based on context, but they will laugh and point. And who wants to go through that? So yes, accents are important. But now let's talk about some of the rules for accent placement. First, if the word ends in a vowel, the letter N, or the letter S, the stress is on the last syllable. For example, in canción, comerás, and comeré. Second, if the word ends in any other consonant other than N or S, the stress is on the second to last syllable. In the examples, cárcel, árbol, and débil. But of course, there are always exceptions to the rules, I before E and whatnot. And that's where things get tricky. For example, let's take a look at the word mamá again. As we already discussed, the stress can either be on the last syllable or neither syllable, and the meaning changes pretty drastically depending on that. And there are plenty of other words out there that break the rule and have different meanings based on accent placement. For example, let's take a look at this word. It can either mean potato, pope, or dad, depending on where the accent is, and if it's a masculine or feminine. Now that by itself can be a completely different video. I'm going to stick to just the accent placements right now. Or the word sí. It can either mean yes or if, depending on if it follows the rule or not. Now this can go on in many different ways, and I can go into depth with this if you want. Just let me know by liking the video. That lets me know to make more of these. You guys have no idea how much actually goes into making these videos. But back on topic. What happens when you don't use accents correctly? Well, let me tell you. It can lead to some pretty hilarious misunderstandings. For example, how would you say this phrase? Did you say, I eat potatoes? Or, I eat dads? How about this phrase? Did you say, yes, mom? Or, well, you get the point. As you start speaking the language and listening to others talk, you'll get the feel for where the accents go, and knowing some of these rules will help you write it out as well, so you can communicate both verbally and written. So, amigos, I hope I've confused you enough with what seems like an arbitrary rule to a language that already doesn't make a lot of sense to you. But for real, you can see that accents in Spanish are no laughing matter. I mean, maybe it's a little bit of a laughing matter, but seriously, it's important to use accents correctly to avoid any confusion or misunderstandings. So, the next time you're writing in Spanish, be sure to pay attention to those accents. Otherwise, you might just find yourself saying something you really didn't want to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a lot different than what I normally post, and it took a lot of time to put this together. So, if you did enjoy it, and you learned something from it, make sure you like the video to let the YouTube gods know that I did a good job, and I'll try to make more of these in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Adios!